This is actually the dashboard where you can be able to see from a high level what the overall health of your data protection environment is, how much capacity is actually being used, how much is free, looking at some of the performance metrics for the last data protection throughput, different activities, and then your OneXafe clusters. Here I've got alerts and alarms about something's going on with this cluster, so I can delve into this and take a further look, looking at different data reduction ratios. And in this environment, I have 2 different clusters. So I want to show a couple things in terms of certainly the kind of the clean look and feel of the dashboard, where with you are able to log in, get an environment, understand what the situation is, and then if you need to take action, you can drill down and do that. But what we've done is we've tried to present the most critical information to you as an admin, so you can log in, see how things are going, and if nothing's happening, log out and you're done. If you do want to define policies, this is something that's very easy and simplified to do. So here you can see I've got a 4312 cluster. This is our prior generation and still available certainly of the OneBlox 4212 7-node cluster with encryption. And I actually have a policy here that is backing up to a OneSafe cluster, and this is my policy, right? So I'm able to see that I have a policy set of a single recovery point for 1 day. I've got 1 daily recovery, 1 weekly, and 1 monthly. And this, I'm not replicating this anywhere. So I'm not going to mess with that policy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new policy. So this is going to be, I'm going to call it Sean Custom here. And I can take snapshots every hour, 15 minutes, etc. So this is all part of our VMware integration. But I have 2 different targets here. You can very easily see how much I have free versus total. This looks to be like perhaps an all-flash 5210 model. So I'm going to go and select that. And now I'm just going to take, how many recovery points do I want? I'm going to do 21 dailies. Let's adjust that to 8 weeklies and 12 monthlies. And I'm just going to keep it local here for the local OneSafe. So now I've got this policy assigned. So now I can take a look and seeing which VMs I want to protect. So now I can decide based upon my environment. You can see different virtual servers over here. You can also filter by different machines. If you want to apply for, depending on your naming policy, I'm going to take all the R6U VMs. And now here, I have all the R6U VMs. I can select all of them if I want to, and I can assign a policy, right? I'm actually going to take just this one here and assign a policy. So very easily, I see my custom policy that I can define. And at the same view, I have a thumbnail of, okay, this is the policy. I don't have to drill down and remember what my Sean custom policy is. I can just assign this one. I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and that's it. And now it's done. On the storage side, this is actually one of the things that from a storage management perspective, again, I have a dashboard view about what's going on with my cluster. Here I've got a critical issue. We can take a look and see what that issue is. Replacing failed drives. Looks like this is obviously my QA environment here. This is something that is, we're inducing fault failures. Here is a healthy cluster, 7 nodes. I can click on that. I can see the network topologies. You can set up multiple port groups or different network profiles. You can see and understand what's happening with each of these. At the same time, when you're creating shares for that multiple purposes, when you're using the converged OneSafe for data protection, you don't have to create any shares. Everything is converged running on the cluster. Those microservices I described at the beginning, those data protection policies are actually protecting applications and moving that storage directly from the production SAN storage via SAN direct to the cluster directly. If you do want to create a share, and let's create just a, I'm just going to call it file share, and I'm going to choose this cluster here, my 7-node encrypted at SMB, and it's going to be available for anyone. Now, if you're registered with Active Directory, which we do, you can choose that as well. And let's choose a custom policy. So now here's my custom policy of my snapshots. I'm going to keep snapshots, well, let's do 6 months instead of a year. I'm going to disable compression because this file serving, let's assume it's all video. It doesn't matter for compression. And now I can save that. Now I'm done. Share is saving this, and I can actually open this up and I can look, and now you can actually do other things in terms of replicate that to another cluster if necessary. I don't know if that other cluster is going to show up, but this is how you actually can do replication from one share to another in 3 mouse clicks. So those that have to figure out, they're used to the traditional way of RAID LUNs and volumes of Do I have this source and the target configured identically? You don't have to worry about that anymore, because now I actually am replicating from this 4212 cluster to this one, a 5000 series. I click next. Because I'm on my same network, I don't have to worry about external IP addresses or external ports. All the data is encrypted in flight, and as you saw earlier, this 7-node cluster is actually encrypted at rest as well. Now I click finish, and I'm done. And that's all there is to it. And so now with this dashboard view for the shares, I can see that the action is actually replicating. It's syncing. My recovery point has not yet been established, but I'll be able to very easily see each share is read-only in one or multiple clusters, and that's the target. And if I fail over, that failover point will be from the last recovery point, right? And that happens actually just in a matter of seconds to be able to do that. So that's really as easy as it is to set up a policy, create a share, define that policy that policy that you defined, actually assign that to a set of VMs. And that can be one VM or any number of VMs in a few clicks. Similarly, if you look at the capacity planning exercise, this is one of the things that you can begin to see over time. How is my storage being used? And what's that capacity trending looking like for when am I going to run out of storage? We actually do back-end analytics for this so that you can plan ahead. And as you see this approaching, the way that you add storage to a OneXafe cluster is literally 2 mouse clicks. You install the initial cluster, obviously, by just network power drives turn on, confirm the cluster configuration. But it's even as easy to add to a 3-node cluster going to a 4 or 5-node cluster, power on the new ones. They're connected to the same network. They'll automatically discover the other ones. And you confirm both 2 mouse clicks. Yes, I want these 2 new nodes to join an existing 3-node cluster. And now you have a 5-node cluster. The pool of storage increases. All the applications see more data. You have more capacity available for backup literally in about 5 to 10 minutes. It's that easy to do.